Welcome to the social science class, children. In today's class, you are going to learn a new lesson from history, new religious ideas and movements. In this topic, you are going to know about how the Bhakti movement began, the devotional movement of Alvas and Nayanmars, Bhakti movement in North India, and also to know about interaction between Hinduism and Islam leading to the birth of new cult, notable Sufism and the impact of Bhakti movement. Let us see the introduction of this lesson.
Medieval India saw an extraordinary production of devotional poetry which were not restricted to one particular religion but inspired by different religious movements. The exponents of these movements held the view that total devotion, that is bhakti, to God could save man from the pitfalls of life and earn him salvation. Salvation means a way of being saved from danger, loss, or harm. It was also believed that one does not have to go to temples or perform rituals, for God is omnipresent. That means present everywhere at the same time and resides inside every human. The Bhagavad Gita proposed that the path of Bhakti Marga, the path of Bhakti, is superior to the two other religious approaches, namely the path of knowledge and the path of rituals and good works, that is karma, providing inspiration to the exponents of Bhakti cult. Bhakti movement, the beginnings. The Bhakti movement of devotional practices started in Tamil Nadu around 17th century AD. It included reciting the name of the god or goddess, singing hymns in their praises, wearing religious marks, or carrying identity emblems, and undertaken pilgrimages to sacred places associated with the divinity. It emphasized the mutual emotional attachment and love of the devotee towards a personal God and of the God for the devotee. This view was also preached by Sufism, which appeared as a reaction against worldliness of the early Islam. Sufis believed that realization of God can be achieved only through patient devotion to God and meditation. Sufis were of the view that this type of meditation would enable the devotee to understand the true nature of God. They argued that doing so would liberate the devotee from all worldly bonds and help them become one with God. Several mystical religious movements in both Hinduism and Islam had no hesitation to freely include elements of different faiths in their teachings. There is only one God, though Hindus and Muslims call him by different names, stated Haridasa. Let us see devotional movement in Tamilagam, Alvas and Nayanmars. The Alvas, the Vaisnavite Bhakti sages and the originators of Bhakti cult, and the Nayanmars, the worshippers of Shiva composed devotional hymns in Tamil language dedicated to their respective gods. Shiva Bhakti is associated with Shiva manifestation on earth. Poems to Shiva and Vishnu, particularly to Krishna, were composed in Tamil and other South Indian languages such as Kannada and Telugu. These poet saints criticized caste based social status and advocated gender equality in order to make it good to stand the onslaught of Buddhism or Jainism. Vishnu Bhakti or Vaishnavism is based on Vishnu's avatars, particularly Krishna and Rama. The 12 Tamil Alvars are chiefly known for their immortal hymns. Two Alvars stand out distinctly for their contribution to the promotion of the Bhakti movement. Nammalvar's fame lies in his 1102 stanza Thiruvaimozhi. Nadamuni collected the 4000 poems of Nammalvar in the form of Divya Prabandham. Andal, the only female Alvar, is another. Periyalvar, who was early known as Vishnu Chittar, made lot of songs on Krishna, putting himself in the place of Mother Yasoda. Periyalvar is said to have found Andal as a baby in the Tulasi garden at Srivilliputhur temple and adopted her. She grew up in the temple town of Srivilliputhur and became known as Andal, she who ruled the Tirupavai, the path of Krishna, and the Nachiyar Tirumozhi, the sacred songs of the lady, are her celebrated works. Her poems expressing her love for Ranganatha, the incarnation of Vishnu worshipped at a temple at Srirangam, are used in Vaishnava wedding ceremonies in Tamil Nadu. There are 63 legendary Nayanmas, among them Jnanasambandar, Appar and Sundarar are worshipped as saints through their images in South Indian temples. Nambiyandar Nambi, 1000 AD, is said to have compiled the songs of all of the Nayanmas that form the basis of Tirumurai, the basic Tamil Saivit sacred canon. It consists of 12 books and 11 of them were assembled by Nambi. The 12th book is Chekilar's Periya Puranam. Now let us know about Adi Sankara. Adi Sankara or Sankaracharya, the period from 700 to 750 AD. He preached the Advaita philosophy. The essence of this philosophy is that the soul, that is Atma, unites with the universal soul, Brahma, through the attainment of knowledge. He set up Madas, centers of learning and worship, at Badrinath, Puri, Dwarka and Sringeri. These places have become prominent pilgrim centers today. Sankaracharya, orthodox Vedic tradition without paying attention to the Bhakti movement of his time. His masterpiece is the commentary on the Brahma Sutra, which is a fundamental text of the Vedanta school. His commentaries on the principal Upanishad are also considered equal importance. Ramanuja. Ramanuja, a 11th century Vaishnava saint, was the most influential thinker of Vaishnavism. His philosophy, known as Visistha Advaita, proclaims that the soul retains its identity even after uniting with Dharma. After a long pilgrimage, Ramanuja settled in Srirangam. Ramanuja articulated ideas of social equality and commanded caste-based restrictions on entering the temples. He established centers to spread his doctrine of devotion, Sri Vaishnavism, to God Vishnu and his consort Lakshmi. In the 16th and 17th centuries, Vaishnavism spread across India. The Vadagalai Vaishnavism originally flourished around Kanchipuram, which was a popular center for Sanskrit learning. Tenkalai Vaishnavism centered on Srirangam. Vadagalai sect focused on Vedic literature, which is written in Sanskrit. The Tenkalai sect stressed the importance of Divya Prabandham, written by the 12 Alvas in Tamil. Let us see Bhakti movement in North India. While dealing with the religious movements of the 14th and 15th centuries in northern India, one has to keep in mind the two very different attitudes which Hindu religious leaders had towards Islam. One group accepted what was the best in Islam, the other adopted a few elements in order to prevent conversion to Islam. Both reacted to Islam, but one was sympathetic while the other was hostile. Kabir and Guru Nanak and other founders of new sects are included in the first group, while the movement in Bengal associated with Chaitanya Deva or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belongs to the later tendency. Okay, children, now let us know exponents of Bhakti movement. It was a Ramananda who spread the Bhakti ideology in northern India, where it became a mass movement. Vallabhacharya, a Telugu philosopher, built a temple for Lord Krishna on the Govardhan hills near Madura. Surdas, a blind poet and musician, was associated with this temple as well as that of Agra. His famous collection of poetry is called Sursagar. Mirabai, wife of the crown prince of Mewar, was an ardent devotee of Lord Krishna. She was disciple of Ravidas. Mirabai gained popularity through her bhajanas. Chaitanya Deva popularized Krishna worship through songs and dancing that had a profound effect on Vaishnavism in Bengal. In the 16th century, in Tulsidas' Hindi retelling of the story of Rama, in the Ram Chaturmanas, the sentiment of friendship and loyalty is trusted. Many of those poems continue to be restricted and sung often at all night celebration. Tukaram, a 17th century saint poet of Maharashtra, is known for his spiritual songs devoted to Vithoba, an avatar of Krishna. There is a Vithoba Panduranga temple at Pandharpur in Solapur district, Maharashtra. Let us see Sufism in India. The advent of Sufis to India dates back to the Arab conquest of Sindh. It gained promises in the 10th and 11th centuries during the reign of the Delhi Sultans. Sufism adopted many native Indian concepts such as yogic postures, music, and dance. Sufism found among both Muslims and Hindus. Sufism, the word Sufi takes its origin from Suf, meaning wool. The Sufis wore coarse garments made of wool and hence they were called Sufis. Sufism was basically Islamic but was influenced by Hindu and Buddhist Mahayana ideas. It rejected the stringent conduct code of the ulemas. Sufis in medieval India were divided into three major orders. Poet Amir Khusro was one of its distinguished followers. Let us know about Kabir. As a Muslim, Kabir came under the influence of Varanasi-based Saint Ramananda. He accepted some Hindu ideas and tried to reconcile Hinduism and Islam. However, it was the Hindus, and particularly those of the lower classes, to whom his message appealed. Kabir believed that God is one and formless, even though different religious sects give him different names and forms. He opposed discrimination on the basis of religion, caste, and wealth. He also commanded meaningless rituals. Kabir's verses were composed in Bhojpuri language mixed with Urdu. The Kabir's Granthawali and the Bija contain collections of Kabir's verses. Next, Guru Nanak. Early life, Guru Nanak. He born in a village near Lahore in 1469, showed interest in religious distinction with other saints right from his early childhood. His parents were meant to involve him in worldly life, but he was inclined towards spiritualism. He visited many holy places and finally settled in Karatpur near Lahore. He died there in 1539. To mark the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak, a corridor is being constructed by the Indian government that will link the Nanak shrine in Gurdaspur with Gurdaswara Darbar Sahib at Karatpur in Pakistan. Guru Nanak preached that God is without form and wanted his followers to practice meditation upon the name of God for peace and ultimate salvation. He is considered the first Guru by the Sikhs. Guru Nanak had great concepts for Vedic rituals and caste discrimination. The teachings of Guru Nanak formed the basis of Sikhism, a new religious order founded in the late 15th century. His and his successors' teaching are collected in the Guru Granth Sahib, which is the holy book of the Sikhs. Guru Nanak's teachings were spread through the group singing of hymns called Kirtan. The devotees gathered in Dharmasalai, that is the rest houses, which became Gurudwaras in course of time. Guru Nanak nominated his disciple Lakhna to succeed him as the Guru. Following this precedent, the successors are named by the Sikh Guru at the time of Guru Gobind Singh. The customs of Pav was introduced. Those who got baptized became members of a disciplined brotherhood known as the Khalsa, meaning the pure. The men were given the title Singh, lion. Every member of the Khalsa had to have 5 distinguished things on his person. These were kesh, uncut hair, kanha, comb, kirban, dagger, daga, steel bangle, and karchira, underpants. After Guru Gobind Singh, the holy book Guru Granth Sahib is considered the Guru and its message is spread by the Khalsa. Let us see impact of the religious or Bhakti movement. Vedic Hinduism was regenerated and thus saved from the onslaught of Islam. The Islamic tenets, unity of God and universal brotherhood, emphasized by the saints, promoted harmony and peace. Bhakti was a movement of the common people. It used the language of the common people for its devotional literature. Bhakti movement opened up space for Indian languages to grow. It stimulated literacy, activity in regional languages. What sustained Sanskrit despite its decline during this period was the support extended by the rulers of Hindu kingdoms. Tamil was the only ancient Indian language remained vibrant during this period, but the ethos of Tamil literature in medieval time had changed. In the classical period, it had secular literature depicting the everyday life, its joys and sorrows. But under the influence of devotional cults, its emphasis shifted to religion and religious literature. Caste system and social disparities came to be criticized. The impact of the Bhakti movement on the medieval Indian society is analyzed.